Hello YouTube, it is me, Crimson Ash, back here with a new friend.
Sir Nubby, that's me.
Today we're going to be doing a quick little political talk. This is going to be the start of, it might be on my channel, it might be on a new channel, maybe we'll make a channel for him, it'll be there. But if you're watching this, you found it. Anyways, we're talking about two topics today. First one being the issue of family separation at the border, and then the second one, which is less important in my opinion, is the brewing trade war with China.
Ooh, $50 billion at stake.
We'll get into that. But we're going to start out with the family separation at the border. Now, this is a complicated issue. It really is. Because obviously, no one wants children to be separated from their parents. Let's get that out of the way. No one wants that. But we're in a position where it's more of a necessity as a deterrent, really. Because put yourselves in the shoes of these illegal immigrants coming into the country. Would you really risk being separated from your child like that? No, you wouldn't. And even then, they're only allowed to be separated for, I think it's a max of 90 days. And then they have to be reunited no matter what. So it's really not that bad. And I'd like to get some of your thoughts on this issue.
Well, my personal pressing matter is that people think that these kids are being held in concentration camp style conditions when the truth is it may be a chain link fence, as Bryce and I have discussed quite earlier before this video. And we discussed the conditions are perfectly fine. They are being cared for. They're being provided with things to do to occupy their mind. And these activists are taking out parts. And they are basically masking the truth.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact they are also allowed phone calls. So if their parents are in a place where they can receive phone calls, they can still talk to their parents.
Yes.
The only issue is, I will admit, there is an issue with record keeping, where agents might not know where to find the information for the parents to contact their kids. That is an issue that needs to be worked on, but that can all be fixed with a little bit of extra training. You know, so all the issues around this are very minor ones. And I think the more pressing matter is why people are trying to get into the country. And that often is, at least what they're claiming. I don't know. I'm not part of that world. But they claim that they're often trying to escape either the cartels. If you're from Central America, it might be MS-13 members. But if you are coming to America to seek asylum, you can go to a legal port of entry and seek it, and they will bring you into the country for questioning and stuff. So even then, you may end up getting sent back, but you at least have a temporary reprieve. It's better than being separated from your child and getting charged with a crime.
Yes, very much so. I think the thing about immigration is you can become integrated into the American society. Immigration, integration.
Yeah, that's a very important thing. Many immigrants, from not wanting to pick on people in general, but many immigrants, when they come to America, they fail to understand that we are not going to conform to your culture. When you come here, when you come to a foreign country, you should expect to integrate within to the way their society works. Don't expect their society to change for you.
They expect us to respect their culture once we enter their country. We do so when we are traveling on vacation, things like that. We may not do as much immigration into other countries as other people do, but we still respect their countries once we go into there. We try to learn their languages. Some people may not, but I'm saying if I did, or if Bryce did, we would definitely respect their culture.
Just as a rule of thumb, you know. And so that's getting off track a bit. But I think the only issue with the family separation is that we need to, first of all, change the way the media is presenting it, because they are being quite misleading, telling us conditions are far worse than there are. And there may be some facilities that are underfunded, but that can all be quickly remedied. It's not this massive, heartbreaking, horrible issue. Because, again, I say, no one wants the kids to be separated, but it's a necessity and a deterrent. You can't just keep a kid with the criminal. Okay, even in America, if your mother's caught selling dope, they're not going to bring you in with the mother. They're going to keep you separated for everyone's safety. And that's really the heart of this issue is safety and procedure. And this has technically been a law on the books since the Obama administration. It's only that it is just now being enforced like it was meant to be.
Yes.
And that's, I think, a more important issue too. Is people seem to care less if this issue happened during the Obama administration.
Yes,
but they want to attack Trump. They look for anything possible to tear him down, and I think that that's horrible. I'm very much of the opinion. There within the Republican faction, there are sometimes Trumpers and never Trumper. No, I misphrased that. There's always Trump and never Trump. Well, I'm a sometimes Trump. Okay.
Yes.
When he does something good, I praise him. When he does something bad, I tell him he did something bad. And guess what? The next issue we're going to talk about, I think he's doing something bad. He needs to stop it. Just because you're a businessman doesn't mean you know everything. Okay, so that's a perfect segue into the next topic, which is the brewing trade war between the United States and China. I'll let you start out on this one.
Well, in about June 15th, there was an article written about the money that China has at stake. About $50 billion in trade will be lost due to these tariffs. And retaliation from China for the tariffs we put on there. They are just going to keep going back and forth, stacking more tariffs on top of each other until we basically both just fall and crumble.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, okay, I'm less of a Republican, more of a libertarian. I just want the government to leave everyone alone. And in my ideal world, you wouldn't know the government existed. That's my ideal world.
Yes.
Now, that's why I'm so against these tariffs that may seem to be putting America first, like I believe we should do, but really it's not, because what benefits America is true free trade. And Trump putting these extra tariffs on top of something for what he perceives to be a injustice within the trade system is doing nothing more than hurting Americans, okay?
Yes.
Because some of the first tariffs that were being placed was stuff about the steel industry and stuff, and he was trying to bring back jobs to America in the manufacturing of steel.
And he's done that,
to a small degree, but at the end of the day, low-class manufacturing jobs like that probably aren't ever going to come back to America. No matter how many tariffs you throw at foreign steel, it's just not coming back. And all you're doing by placing those tariffs is hurting the industries in America that import that steel.
Textiles will never be back to the degree they were in America.
And
Let's face it.
And like an example, by putting all these tariffs on steel, it hurts all of the car companies who have to import all of that. I think that's the more important issue, is that it seems like on the surface it may seem to be in an effort to help the American people, but he's unintentionally hurting the American people.
Not only that, China is our allies. We're
I'm of a differing
amigos,
opinion there.
We have things that we disagree on because, hey, China is on a completely different world.
Yeah, my disagreement is I don't like communists. So that's my disagreement with them. But
communism is a complicated, very complicated governmentation. Like, think about it. Some communist leaders were actually praised. Like, dictators were praised for the way they ran the country. But in China, the way that they run their country is, I'm not going to say inhumane because that is quite racist, but
I'll say
it's
inhumane,
not right.
But I'll say inhumane all day long. Inhumane. But then we're getting off into the topic of the morality of communism.
Yes.
That's a different video altogether. I can talk about that for hours. But more importantly is, while I would not consider China an ally per se, it is mutually beneficial for both of us to get along.
We have our benefactors, and
we grow off of each other. And the simple fact is, if America's doing good, the rest of the world's doing good. Okay, we are the center of the world's economy. It's just the way it is.
We could get into the whole political talk of how America basically has control of almost every other country, but that's not.
we basically do. We can strong arm people through economics.
We are a democracy, and I think it's about time we start running our country like a democracy. People for the people.
That's
not
fair. That's
politicians.
fair. I think on both sides of the aisle, politics have become very corrupted. Though I will say, I feel like, and this could be coming from a point of bias, I don't know, but I feel like the Democratic side is a bit more on the corrupt end, purely because if you look at the biggest donors, it's always unions.
Yes.
And typically federal unions. And I think that that's wrong. I hate... Okay, I'm against unions now. But back when they were first established, I feel like they were necessary because we didn't have laws in place to protect the worker yet. But now we do. Unions are no longer a necessity, and unions get in the way of you negotiating with your employer.
Because
you have
we
to go
have
through the
world
union.
trade as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what this topic is about, and we're thinking, if we can get a message to the American people about what is going on with our trade, and we need people to debate with, to be honest, because everyone has different opinions.
Yeah.
You may not agree with this tariff. You may agree with it.
I don't.
I surely do not.
Yeah. But, and that's another beautiful thing. I'm sure over the course of doing these videos, we'll find something to disagree about, and that'll lead into an interesting discussion that will help both of us understand the issue better.
Let's be constructive criticism instead of deconstructive.
And that's another thing we should talk about is how divided the American people are now.
We're in parties when really there should be none.
Yeah, it should be... Parties are I would say almost a necessary evil at this point. You know, it would be hard to completely restructure the way our system works to where there were no parties and you were just voting strictly on the issues. Now you just kind of have to vote for whichever party is closest to what you believe on the issues.
But how can we stand united when we are really divided?
Well, that's the thing is you have to get away from looking at it just as... You're looking at it, the picture too close in that case. You're looking at it as, okay, we're in different political parties, but if you take a step back and look at what both party wants, they are both doing what they think is best for America. And that's the heart of it. Okay, we all are trying to do what's best for our people. We just have different ideas of what is best. And as long as we can come together and realize that that's what all of us want.
And then work together to see what actually is
and we
best.
have to, each side has to be willing to make compromises. Okay, you'll never be able to just only govern one way. It's an unfortunate truth. So no matter which side you're on, be willing to listen to the other side.
We need to find a median between both parties that could be going against one another, or multiple parties that could come between and have no bias.
Yeah. And I think we do need to get back to the heart of it, where we are all Americans united, first and foremost. Okay? I'm an American, then I'm a conservative, you know?
Yes.
Not a conservative, then an American.
And not a socialist and then an American, you know?
Ooh, don't say that word anywhere near me. No offense to the socialists out there.
Big differences, and we all
that's
want to
a different video. That's a different video,
yes,
right there.
Video.
I guess that about wraps it up for today, honestly. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed that video. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, hit that bell icon so YouTube might notify you. They don't most of the time, but who cares? Who wants their subscribers to see their videos? Who cares? It's fine.
This is for you, not for us.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, that's been it. I have been Crimson Ash.
This is our Nubby.